Well, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you to the debut of Raging Reality Painted Black. And I thought it would be somewhat ironic, ladies and gentlemen, if we take a look at, I think, not only the very song that started it all, the song that inspired this channel, the song that inspired the thoughts and machinations of hundreds of bands to come. But I also think the sole inspiration for almost everything else we do for this channel. Because you may have already noticed there's no colour at all in what we do, ladies and gentlemen. And that's because I wanted to dedicate this entire channel, ladies and gentlemen, to several different subgenres of metal. That being doom, gothic, death, industrial, and black. 5 different subgenres of metal, and we sort of like circumnavigate between like doing whatever happens on like a Saturday or Sunday. We sort of like we play by ear, if that makes sense. Now, the interesting thing to note, ladies and gentlemen, I already did the what I thought was going to be the first video for Painted Black, and that being Black Sabbath's Black Sabbath. No, pretty self-explanatory, because that is what many people consider to be the absolute, the point of reference for doom metal for the next 55 years. And well, while we certainly will be discussing a lot more of Black Sabbath and a lot of things that come after it, like Sleep and Animals. Does Animals as Leaders count as doom? I don't think so, but there's going to be a discussion about them some point or other. And whilst there'll also be discussions about things like Cat and Rotting Christ and Carcass and Candlemas, there's going to be a lot of open discussions about those guys. But why on earth are we talking about Painted Black by the Rolling Stones first? Well, to put it simply, I think this is what inspired all of them. Yeah, call it a bit of a weird idea, ladies and gentlemen, to start by saying the point of reference was from 1966. But no, I honestly do believe it. I think everything that we talk about, it starts with this song. And why is that? Because this is a song that explicitly states about a man whose life has fallen apart and he wants the whole world to be black. And tell me if that doesn't sound, one, metal, for someone to be that engrossed in misery that they want the whole world to match his insides. But also, well, just for everything else that goes into it. I mean, it's iconic, it's fast, it's not only influential to, like I say, doom, black, death, gothic, and industrial. Industrial may be here or there, because I've never really talked about industrial metal before. But what I will say is that I think if it was up to me, I would have started off by first taking a look at this song, because it's nigh on everywhere, not only throughout the late 60s, but the 70s, and you consider the amount of groups, ladies and gentlemen, that have covered Painted Black, from Beast in Black to the Harp Twins to Sierra. There's far too many to count, and there's for good reason. And for those lucky enough at home who've never actually listened to Painted Black before, oh boy, I think you're going to be in for a treat. So, let's go.
Painted black, no colors anymore, I want them to turn black. I see the girls go by dressed in their summer clothes. I have to turn my head until my darkness goes. I see a line of cars and they are painted black. Flowers and my love hope never to come back. I see people turn their heads and quickly look away. Like you thought, baby, it just happens every black. I see my red door, I must have it painted black. Maybe then I'll fade away and not have to face the facts. It's not easy facing up when your whole world is black. No more will my green seagull turn a deeper blue. I could not foresee this thing happening to you. If I look hard enough into the setting sun, my love will laugh with me before the morning comes. I see a red door and I want it painted black. No colors anymore, I want them to turn black.
Cinema, ladies and gentlemen, and, well, if nothing else, I certainly hope I've kind of tried my absolute best to make my point, because as proof, even though they talk so much about themes of depression, hopelessness, but I think it's also to the extent of either Richard, whether you want to say this was the idea of Richards or even Jagger, you could see almost immediately that it was one of these guys who maybe this didn't have anything to do with maybe had more to do with Syd Barrett, for as far as we know. You know, Syd Barrett out of Pink Floyd, who literally went to hell and pretty much never came back regards to his mental. Maybe they literally did mean this to Syd Barrett or something. I have no idea, but I think it's almost the tagline to not only a lot of songs that we're going to be talking about on this channel, but I also think it's also a lot of it's a heavy point of reference for so many songs that we talk about on so many other channels. I mean, the closest comparison I could possibly ever make to something like Painted Black, which is it's a pretty hard one to do, but ironically it would be Fade to Black by Metallica. Because Fade to Black by Metallica, I'm not entirely sure if I honestly think Fade to Black is the best Metallica song that they've ever done, but I think it's absolutely top 5. It might even be like 2 or 3, or maybe even number 1 or something. But what do you guys think? Do you think they got? I think absolutely a lot of their ideas came from Painted Black. They talk. I mean, the misery, the desperation, and the theme of the color black, devoid of light. Nothing. It's almost the world. They do say in many cultures, ladies and gentlemen, that they consider black to be almost a symbol of the void, a void in which no life, no emotion, nothing gets in and nothing gets out. And I gotta tell you something right now, ladies and gentlemen. I know I've probably shared this story before elsewhere, but the day when I nearly got killed in a freak accident when I was 13 years old, there was a moment where I blacked out for like, I think probably less than half a second, and that was that single moment that honestly I think I might even believe in the not so much the void in itself, but rather the concept of the void. I felt like I was in an eternal blackness, deeper than the deepest abyss, further out in space than you could possibly get. It is literally, ladies and gentlemen, like being in a world devoid of everything. Not only everything you've ever known, but everything you never knew, or anything you didn't know could exist. Gone. Nothing. Except you. That's the sort of world you could fall into, ladies and gentlemen, through things like depression, and we've seen that sort of impact for ourselves. We know what it's like when we wake up and we think the sun will never shine again, or when the spring will never begin, or the winter's icy cold grip will merely pull us down to a watery grave. Themes are dark, themes can be often black, but not hopeless, ladies and gentlemen. Hope always finds a way, and hope always comes around. For sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, you need darkness to show you the light. And the great irony is, ladies and gentlemen, is that even through some of the things we'll be talking about might sound obliquely bleak, helpless, completely devoid of all hope and faith, it be some of those songs, ladies and gentlemen, you never know, they may have pulled people back from the very brink of that abyss. You never know, ladies and gentlemen, you never know. Something like that. I have an honest opinion, ladies and gentlemen, that Paint It Black, it's probably saved more lives than people are willing to admit. It's probably saved more people from realizing that they understand and they empathize. They may not 100% fully, understand, but they sort of know what it's like to be in a world completely and utterly dark, where you want everything to turn to black. I also wonder, curiously, I know it's probably not the very first song of its type, but I think it's probably the very first song of its type that not only has stuck the landing, but has also lasted. I mean, when did they say it came out again? Was it 1966 or something like that? But yeah, 1966. So what are we talking about? Nearly 60 years old. You know what? I'm actually going to make you guys a bit of an offer right here. I'm going to find out very, very quickly, just before we go, what was the actual release date? What was the actual... well, okay, so 1966, but what was the actual date for the song Paint It Black? 7th of May, 1966. So... it was... Sorry, I should say it was also released in the UK on the 13th of May. Right. Okay. I will do, ladies and gentlemen... I'm going to do a special sort of documentary, ladies and gentlemen, just based on this song alone. I want to talk about Paint It Black in every single stroke for its 60-year anniversary. You may say that's a bit excessive for one song, ladies and gentlemen, but what a song it is. And it is the inspiration not only for things we'll be talking about, in my opinion, but it's also the basis for everything that this channel is and how it starts. That's why this is going to be the first song, and that's why I named this channel Paint It Black in the first place. So, here we go. I cannot wait, ladies and gentlemen. So, thank all of you guys for watching, and I cannot wait to see all of you guys again in the next video. So take care, and bye-bye for now.